Nearly two-thirds of parents admit they have to bribe their children to get them to read. We're joined by children's author Tamsyn Murray with us at the moment. The Hay Literary Festival on till the 5th of June, so very apt that we're speaking about that. Why is it that children are not falling in love with reading as perhaps they did before?
Well, I think there are a lot of new demands on their time now. There are so many things out there that they could be doing, things that didn't exist maybe 15, 20 years ago, and it's just a real pull on their time. And parents, you know, are encouraging them to do other things as well. So they're doing sports and, you know, they're busy.
How do you compete with the technology? Because they've got iPads, there's so many other things, as you say, that they could be doing. How does a book compete with an iPad?
Well, I think books can give you a unique insight into other worlds that perhaps you can't get from looking at an iPad or playing a game. I mean, I don't know that anything else gives you the opportunity to slip into somebody else's shoes, for example, for a short period of time and just actually be someone else. When you're watching a film, you don't actually put yourself in someone else's shoes in the same way that you do when you're reading a book.
So Tamsyn, if there's a youngster who would rather watch something on their tablet as opposed to read a book, should the onus be on the mum and dad to force that child, and how can you force them to do it?
Oh, force. Oh. As a parent, that just fills me with horror. It's definitely not the way that I would approach it. I would start off with a nice, simple text, but one that is, you know, really lovely, like the Gruffalo, for example. And I wouldn't force them to read anything that I think they should be reading. I'd let them choose their own text, or I would encourage them to read something that's a bit simpler and read it together. And the other way to encourage your children to read is to lead by example. Normalise reading. Sit there reading at home. Let them see you reading, whatever it is you're reading. Let them see you doing it, and then they will want to copy you, because that's what children do.
And what are the benefits of reading with children and encouraging them to fall in love with books? The stats are saying that they're 3 months ahead in reading age if you're read to by your parents.
Yeah, absolutely. There are massive benefits, and I'm biased, but I think reading underpins everything that we do. And so it's just about getting them to enjoy a book, put themselves in someone else's shoes. It's going to have an impact on the rest of their education. Schools have access to reading schemes, like, for example, Reading Planet, which has been geared towards the new national curriculum, so that it actually helps them to understand phonics and understand things like speech rhythm without them actually knowing that they're being taught. So it's just got massive benefits.
Some of the stats, the research that's been done, suggests that teachers think some of the reading schemes that are being employed aren't beneficial because the children find them boring.
Well, there's always that. I think that some of the reading schemes have been around for a little while, and perhaps some of the things that they reference are a little bit out of date. So things change so quickly. So if you reference a video recorder, for example, kids are like, oh, what's a video recorder? Or there are some books out there which might reference film in cameras. Well, you know, your average 6-year-old knows iPads, digital natives. You know, they're not gonna understand. So it's important that reading schemes are exciting and fun and bang up to date.
And it can take the adult into a whole new career. I mean, that's how you started writing.
It is.
From reading to your daughter, and then it grew and grew.
Absolutely, yeah. And reading those books taught me everything I needed to know about becoming a writer. So there are some fabulous books out there. And now I've got a 4-year-old as well, so I'm reading to him.
And you write for adults as well.
I do.
What are the specific differences in terms of your target audience? How do you alter your writing when you're writing for children?
When I'm writing for children, I know who my audience is straight away. I gear everything that I do in that story, so the vocabulary, the content, the length, everything is geared towards the reader. When I'm writing for adults, I know that they're going to understand a lot better, so I don't have to have that constraint on me. So yeah, writing for adults is easier than writing for children.
But it's no mean feat at the end to write a book for adults or children. Not everyone can do it. I can get up tomorrow morning and say, do you know what, I'm going to write a novel, a classic.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm writing classics, but yeah, thank you very much. That's a nice compliment. Thank you.
Interesting, though, that you say it's easier to write for adults.
It is, yeah, absolutely. Partly because you're always thinking of your audience when you're writing for children, and only the very best writers can write for children, because, you know, what's more important than inspiring a child to read, to become a lifelong reader and get them ready to spend the rest of their life enjoying books.
And your latest children's book's about a junior zookeeper, is that right?
It is. It's called Tanglewood Animal Park, and the first one is called Baby Zebra Rescue, which is about a girl who moves into an animal park and it's basically her dream come true, and she gets to look after the animals.
Tamsyn Murray, thanks very much for coming in and speaking to us this morning. Thank you.
you.
Coming up on Sunrise.